invite you, and we're happy that your professor told you about this. To get this started, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Jairson. Ascencao is a crazy name, it's Cape Verdean, but you can call me Jair. And I'm a farmer. I'm a part of the Rhode Island Black Political Action Education Committee, run by my mentor over there who's going to speak. His name is Joseph Buchanan, 73. We'll talk about him later. I'm involved also with a group called Southside Community Land Trust. The reason I'm doing this primarily is because plants heal the body, and that's really the most interesting thing on earth to me. We have all these different indigenous cultures that have herbalism, and they teach so much about what it really means to be involved with our environment and not just, in a urban situation where we're so divorced from the natural world that we never even really understand that, this community isn't just people, it's the whole planet. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm happy that y'all came. The reason I came to do this event was the whole name of the event, which is that Mother Earth's health is your health. Personally, I got really sick at some point living a lifestyle that was really focused on eating the most, on doing the most, and having the most fun I possibly could. And what ended up happening is I realized I could burn out. I could burn myself out, and if I burn myself out, then I'm gonna end up using my energy up on nonsense instead of on something that matters. And I said, I don't want to do that. My life needs to accomplish something. And so I focused my attention on how do I use my energy for good and keep it good rather than just for fun, and then I won't have anything for anything that matters. That was really important to me. And it just kept going, and what I realized is the things that we consider to be separate from us really aren't. We think that our actions have nothing to do with the rest of the whole world. And when you consider the fact that in America we have such a high rate of chronic disease, we have a society that is so focused on saying we know what nutrition is, we know what health is, but we have such a high rate of diabetes, and diabetes is a disease of the pancreas, which is the main digestive organ of the body. If the main digestive organ of the human body is so sick in our society, how can we say we understand what it means to eat healthy? And that's something I just want everyone to really think about and consider and get into. So Mother Earth's health is your health. What does that mean? It means that when we do things that benefit life, they also benefit us. And when we do things that don't benefit life, they also don't benefit us. We may think that they do, but what looks good right now might not look good in 5 years. And it might definitely not look good when society gets to the point that we've burned all the oil, we've cut all the trees, and we've run out of all the places. And these are the kinds of things that people don't consider, because all of us really have been taught that our own impact is very small. And that's one of the biggest things that really inspired me to do social activism, was the idea that my reach is as big as I can imagine it can be. What I'm able to accomplish is based on my own imagination. It's not based on what someone else tells me is possible. If I'm willing and capable and concerned, I can put myself in the places where what I think and what I do matter. But it's only true if I'm willing to do those things and be in those places. Everybody else, they're going to live and get what they want out of life, but what I do should matter, and it should be able to be something that's remembered. I don't want to just be forgotten like every other person. How do I get that? By getting people together in this community and making us consider doing things that matter for each other. So Mother Earth's health is your health, and you need to remember that. What happens to this planet is what happens to your home, and we all have a part to play. The people that are gathered here today that put this together, all of them are part of the same culture of a mission of how can we as a team generate new thoughts and get people into something that maybe it might not be traditional, but in all honesty, a lot of tradition comes from starvation, comes from genocide, comes from trouble. And it has nothing to do with one one group or another. It really has to do with how hard it is to get and maintain resources and be stable in our environments. And when we don't think about all of our cultures as coming from people that really struggle, all of our grandparents, all of their parents, the things they went through are unimaginable to us. So to get a meal really for them was, the biggest blessing you could imagine. For most of us right now, we're dealing with things like gout. They call gout a rich man's disease. How am I gonna pay extra to get a disease? These are the kinds of questions that I ask because right now we have so much abundance, especially this group of people. We live in a society that's focusing all of its attention on giving everything that it can to us. So what we ask of that society matters a lot because we're changing what all these institutions do just based on our wants and needs. And so when someone tells you your opinion doesn't matter, remember how much is based on the young people of this planet. And right now, you are the young people. So I'm going to start moving towards the other speakers, but really the point of this is to help us think about how does it mean for me to take care of the world and take care of myself as one? Let's stop separating these things and bring them together. How is Mother Earth's health my health? With that, I want to introduce my mentor. His name is Joseph Buchanan. He's 73. He's been doing political organizing since he was 12 years old. His mother was the first black housing commissioner in Rhode Island, and she was also the first black woman to become a city councilor in Providence. He has a history of community action, and his message is always for the young people. You have so much power, and that power is the greatest gift that you could ever have. So make sure you use it and use it wisely. With that, I'm going to turn things over to my mentor, Joe Buck.
My name is Joseph P. Buchanan. I'm a 73-year-old black African American, born and raised in Providence, Rhode Island my whole life. What I see in this room is a gathering of young people. What I don't see is a gathering of people of color, which is all of us. Blacks, whites, Latinos, Africans, you name it. They should all be in this room because they all go to college. And my message to you young folks is to get all of y'all involved. That's each and every nationality. That's each and every gender. Because if you don't do it, I'm 73. I'm old, but I ain't cold, but you guys are young, fresh, and full of life and vibrance. And what do? You sit on your ass. What do? You complain. What do? You're educated dummies. Because you're more than that. You have common sense. You see what's going on here. I'm glad that Brown rejected Trump's thing. I'm glad they do have ideas. Some of you young folks should be standing up and not sitting down and not complaining. You should be out there in the front line moving. I'm from the days where we had riots for our rights. And you guys got rights to sit here taking it? You're letting the women lose their jobs and letting the genders get replaced? And these are all you young folks' ideas and lifestyles? And you're allowing them to be thrown out the window because you're scared to death to step up? Because you might be investigated? I've been investigated. So, if you can't take the pain, get out of this game. Because being a leader and being an organizer is not easy. Because when you organize, you have to know your community. You have to know your people. You can't just guess it. You can't say this is what your community wants without you going out there knocking on doors. You can't say I talked to this one black guy, or I talked to this one white woman, or this one African guy. That's not talking to our community. Sometimes you have to bleed and hurt and get wounded before you accomplish something. And It doesn't take a lot of people to start a movement. It takes a few good people to start a movement. It takes a few people that are willing to be out there each and every day. And we don't have that. We do not have that. You have young folks up together for 1 or 2 days and run. You had the homeless people out there on the state house lawn. They was winning their victory. The governor saying the piss, the shit, the people shooting drugs that they're not supposed to. But they was making change. When the change slowed down, is when they got them off their grass. That's when they took them longer building them houses. Young people, it's up to you to make a stand and make movement. It's not about color. It's about us as people, as human beings, standing up for something. Because she got blue hair means I'm not supposed to like her? I'm supposed to make fun of her? No. We're supposed to embrace these kind of people. We're supposed to embrace each other. Because you wear glasses, I shouldn't like you? Come on. That's silly. When are we, as people, going to wake up? Not just me, not just you, but all of us in this room. You know how much power you have, you know how much intellect you have in this room that you are not using? Because mom and daddy might say, you're not supposed to do this. Or the college dean might say, not do this. Are they living their life? Are they going through the change you're going through? Are they paying back these loans? Young people, stand up. Stand for nothing than to rather stand for nothing. Stand for something. You might as well fight going down as a fight getting beat up doing nothing. You're kicking your ass there and saying, okay, I like it, I like it. Do you really like it? Do you really want to make change? Or are you just talking about change? Because change is a hard thing, because you have to talk it and you have to walk it. If you can't do both, get out the skin. If you're scared, get out the skin. If you don't have this, definitely get out the skin. Because getting together as a movement takes all of us. If we got one weak link, you let go, or you have to be living. Because that's going to be our infiltrator. Do we want to win, or do we want to lose? That's what we always know. And in this room, I see everybody as one. Black. So if y'all don't like being black, let me know. Just let me know. I mean, I don't mind being called white, but they say, I know you're lying, you ain't white. It's just like this word right here. It's like, you're a nigga. What does a nigga mean? You young lady with the red hair.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is interactive. We're going to ask everybody questions.
What is a nigga?
I don't want to answer that.
Because you don't know, because a nigga is a nigga person. That makes you a nigga. See what I mean? Nigga is not skin color. You got that wrong. Your mother and father told you the wrong thing. You be like me calling you a hunter. You ain't no hunter. Let me call him a Chinese fish. Ain't no fish. Come on. We are people. We gotta stop these things, man. And that's why I asked you, what a nigga was. So in front of all your peers, you couldn't answer that question. For a smart, intellectual young woman. But I don't mind because this is about education. This is about teaching. This is about us all learning. You can teach me, I can teach you. I'm 73, I'm never too old to learn. So teach me something. Well, I guess there's no teachers here, huh? I guess there's no leaders. What are we all, followers?
What brought some of y'all here? I'm really curious. If anybody, really has a reason why they came, it would be wonderful to hear.
I mean, I would just like to hear what you young folks stand for. Why are you here? Just for the food? Because this black young woman cooked all this beautiful food that we all have to eat?
Is anybody an activist here? Do they identify as activists?
Nope. Does anybody believe in standing up for the rights in this room? wow, not too many. I mean, I hate to say it this way. Do we have, what is it, chickens there that can't lay eggs? Because this is terrible, because how are you ever going to win plant-based trees when you got all the chickens up here? They lay eggs. You say they don't need eggs, but they lay them. So you tell me how you young people are going to win this war when you guys say old folks don't do nothing. Hell, I am doing something. I don't hear you do anything.
What were your reasons for coming? Like, did you have a reason, or were you just told to come?
They're scared of big black guys. What are you scared of? They don't like it.
Well, the reason we're doing this is because we really like creating interactive and family feeling kind of spaces. It's one thing to sit all day and have people speak at you, and it's another thing to feel like we care about what you think, we care about everybody's thoughts, and we want to make sure it's a space that you feel like your voice can be heard. Because a lot of times we don't get, as a community, we don't get public spaces where there's open dialogue. It's usually just one person speaking and very little else happening. So that's why we really try to push people to get a chance to speak. Don't feel bad if it's hard to speak right now.
Yeah, don't be scared, man. I'm only an old black guy. Don't worry about it. You're a young intellectual. You can teach me things that I can teach you. Yeah, gentlemen.
Well, I'm training to be a journalist, and so when I started journalism, I realized that public health might be a good field fit to understand like community health and to understand people that will be working. So therefore, I'm here tonight to understand.
Hey, thank you. See, now that's a young guy that stood up to sit. Now, come on, some of you ladies that are here with your eyes open wide like this, say something.
I want to learn from leaders.
Speak up, I can't hear you.
I want to learn from leaders, but I need to learn for myself. Second
But
half.
let me tell you about being a leader. A leader isn't all cut off with you, but one thing, you have to take the good and the bad. You have to take the foot off of some of your peers. So if you can't take that, then you shouldn't do it. I'm telling you. Leadership isn't always seen represented. It looks good, but if you can't take this, you can't get the credit. Sometimes the police coming after you, or sometimes your own friends coming after you, or sometimes the politicians coming after you, or sometimes your own family coming after you, because you're standing up for what's right, then you shouldn't do this. Because you're going to come up with some people that don't think it don't matter. And you could be 110% right, but they could kill us. They want to harm you. They want to maim you. They want to talk about you. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to run? Are you going to hide? Or are you going to stand pat?
Why else are we here?
I don't believe in running. Not me. Go ahead.
Can we transition the conversation?
Yeah, get back to Penn. You can do anything you want. I just let them all the guys who just keep the table down.
Joe has run and dealt with political direct action organizations for 6 decades. So he's been in every kind of fight you could imagine, and it's always been tough.
Yeah, Joe gives us a lot of tough love, and I totally have been in the same situation that what's your name? Amy? I've been in the same situation. Joe throwing me a super hard question, and I'm sorry I didn't put you on the spot. It's a little bit tough in front of a big crowd, but I think he's telling us that like we need to step up, and he was saying that to me when we met, and it's kind of intimidating, but after getting to know him and working together, it's really exciting what we can work for together. So I want to just kind of for people to raise their hands, what are the issues that that you're maybe thinking about in the back of your minds of what I should be standing up for? How many people are stressed out about what's happening with the federal government right now? Pretty much every single person. How many people are stressed out about the climate crisis? Yeah, everybody. I wanted to talk a little bit about and kind of bringing it back also to what Jair was saying, that the earth's health is your health. And I wanted to just take a minute to talk about how plant-based food interacts with, the earth's health and our health. Obviously, we know that eating our fruits and vegetables, eating more plants is better for our health. but also it's better for the earth health. And I will give just like a little bit of background on the science perspective of that. Yeah, okay, so my name is Kimmy, I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an organizer for Plant-Based Treaty, which I'll get into a little bit about what Plant-Based Treaty is. I'm the regional coordinator for New England and New York, and I'm also a scientific advisor for Plant-Based Treaty. So I've learned a lot about the impact of animal agriculture on the planet, and I hope that you guys can all go away from this meeting being empowered for like what you can do to help address the climate crisis through plant-based food. And so I'll give like a little bit of information about it, but so we have these cards, a whole bunch of information on the table over there about the impact of animal agriculture, but how do people have heard of planetary boundaries? Okay, how people? Cool. Yeah, so the climate crisis is one of the planetary boundaries. Scientists have determined that there's 9 planetary boundaries, beyond which these are Earth systems that have a stability point, and if we go beyond them, then we threaten the habitability of the planet. So there's 9 planetary boundaries. Those are all on the outside of this card. 6 of the 9 planetary boundaries have been violated. One of them obviously is climate change, but we're not only in a climate crisis, we're also in a biodiversity crisis, a land system change crisis, water, pollution, and the list goes on. And animal agriculture is the biggest industry that's affecting all the planetary boundaries that are being violated right now. So fossil fuels obviously impact the climate crisis, but a third of all greenhouse gas emissions come from the food system. And it's only now just being talked about. So probably you guys have kind of heard that like plant-based food is better for the climate, there's less impact, but it goes so much deeper than that with the planetary boundaries, because each of these boundaries threatens life on the planet. And it's like, I've said this so many times when I talk to people, I talk to city councilors, I talk to government officials, ministers of the environment, ministers of health from countries all over the world when I go to climate conferences representing Plant-Based Treaty. And when you start to think about it, it's really scary. So that puts me in a position where I don't want to feel powerless and feel scared. So instead of like dwelling on how scary this is, I decide, okay, you know what? I know the science and I'm going to take action. And so I want to just tell a quick story about my own personal life of how I got here before I talk about Plant-Based Treaty and how that relates to what I was just talking about. So I actually did my PhD at Yale in physics, in theoretical physics, so I studied dark matter. About halfway through my PhD, I wanted to be a professor, I wanted to study physics for the rest of my life, but it was actually during 2020, and I think I had COVID. It was like some kind of flu. It was before COVID even happened, and I was watching the Democratic primary debates, getting like even knowledgeable about politics at all for the first time. So I was older than you guys, so if you guys know anything about politics, you're ahead of where I was. But I was listening to them speak about all these different issues in the country, economic injustice and the climate crisis and everything, and realizing, oh my God, there's such serious issues right now in the world that I don't want to just sit by and study physics. Like, physics is amazing, and I love science and thinking about what is making up the universe and dark matter and particles, but there's people dying and there's animals and there's just so much happening in the world that I want to be part of the solution. I don't want to just sit by and watch this happen beside me. And so that kind of really resonated with what Joe is saying, is like, how can we actually just take action and stand up for what we believe in? So during my PhD, I still wanted to finish my PhD, but what I decided was to figure out in the 3 years I had left to finish my PhD, what was it going to look like for me to take action? And I thought climate change was like the most concrete thing. I see that's probably the biggest issue we have in the world right now. Like, it threatens all life on the planet, and it's really inequitable in the way that it's impacting people. So I learning about different technologies, and I thought, okay, I'm a scientist, maybe I can develop a new technology that's going to solve the climate crisis, right? But I actually went to this talk that was in the physics department, virtual talk, and we had a speaker who was also a particle physicist, who actually took time off of his career as a professor at MIT to study the physics of climate change and to study the solutions of climate change. and he gave us this talk, and I'll never forget. I think about this all the time, and I actually just talked to him like last week and told him about like, hey, your talk was so inspiring to me. He said, using today's technology, we could just cover 2% of the world's deserts in solar panels to provide all of our energy needs, including ground transportation. And the only reasons we're not doing it are social, political, and economic. And from that, I learned and realized and started looking more into this, that we have the solutions we need, we just need to learn how to cooperate with each other. So that was super inspiring to me to realize that I actually do have these skills as an organizer. I had gotten involved in union organizing and get out the vote when I was in graduate school, and realizing how much, we can actually just use this power of communication and being able to take the science and communicate it to people who have the ability to make decisions about our future. And so we actually have a city councilor here today who's going to speak. I'm not telling you already.
Get ready, Sue.
I'm ready.
Hey.
I know how to do it.
Hey, tell the other guy he's gonna get it. Tell him Joe Buck said it.
John Gonzalez didn't show up.
John Gonzalez did not show up. Everybody remember this. John Gonzalez, come for your vote. Remember, he did not show up.
So let me just bring it back together. So how are we going to take action to using the solutions we have? So all I said about animal agriculture destroying the planet, the solution to that is shifting towards more plant-based food systems that are better for us and better for the planet, and obviously better for animals. And so that's exactly what plant-based food is working on. We're a grassroots movement, a global, all over the world. We have chapters on every continent and teams all over who are advocating for more plant-based food in their communities, having events like this, having free food sampling, and talking to their city councilors about how we can expand this plant-based movement so that it brings in as many people as possible, so that people have better access to healthy foods, and we can actually educate people about the benefits of plant-based eating, because a lot of people, probably a lot of people here were raised to believe that you need meat to be healthy, and you need dairy to be healthy. I definitely was raised that way. And too bad I don't think we have a nutritionist here. But oh, you are? Okay.
I'm actually a nutritionist.
Okay.
She's in training.
I have an internship where I'm a dietitian.
That's amazing.
Speak up, what you
What do you think about plant-based food? Yeah.
So a lot of the dietitians that I study under are vegan. So I'm kind of I wouldn't say I'm biased, but
What's the difference between vegan and plant-based?
what do you mean?
Are they the same?
I guess not necessarily. Plant-based could just be eating more plants, but I'd say vegan, they're different a little. But yeah, meat, especially in this day and age, especially in the U.S., is not good for you. It's full of chemicals. It's just not good for you. So being vegan is definitely the better route.
Why is it not good for you? What's special about America that's making the meat less healthy?
Factory farming, as you said, agriculture is really bad here. So
Then why aren't we working to close them down?
good question. That's a good question.
Yeah. And part of
Not by talking.
by acting. So I want to tell you guys about how we can act together. So everyone should have gotten, I think, one of these. And if you didn't, there's some on the thing there. So this is kind of just a little bit about ways that people are taking action in their own communities when they get involved in plant-based treaties. And on the other side, you can see some examples of cities in the United States that have endorsed the plant-based treaty. So basically, we have this global vision of a plant-based treaty that would be a companion to the Paris Agreement, negotiated by world leaders, and that's when we go to these conferences to talk to them about plant-based food. And so we have this idea of a global treaty, and to work towards the treaty, we get endorsements from individuals, businesses, organizations, and governments, all saying world leaders need to step up and do more. But it's also not just about, we don't just want to get these symbolic endorsements where people say, oh, this is the thing that we need to do. Obviously, that's a huge step, because this is not something that's very well established, that we need to transition toward plant-based food systems. But also we want to take action in our own community and our own lives to create a food system, a local food system that works for the people of the community. And so that is kind of the center of our city campaigns. So we get cities to endorse the plant-based treaty and to create food action plans for how they can promote plant-based food and make plant-based food more accessible in their own cities. So as of this week, we just had our 51st city endorsement, and those are cities on every continent. And I'm really proud to be part of this movement that's so global, and it's really, this global vision, but local solutions. And so I'd be awesome if everybody could take part in being part of the solution, to be building that pressure for our own community in Providence and in Rhode Island to endorse the plant-based treaty. So we have a sign-up sheet over here that's going to go around for people to endorse the plant-based treaty themselves, which means saying that we need to transition towards more plant-based food systems. You don't have to be vegan, you don't have to be vegetarian, you just have to recognize that, you have to be recognizing that this is a solution that's going to help us, help the planet, and help feed everybody healthy food. And that's going to really help us work toward this city campaign in Providence, in other cities in Rhode Island, and in Rhode Island as a state, and hopefully, pushing for that global movement. Did you have a question?
Mayor, is there talk of getting into the PPFD, the school department?
Yeah, I haven't mentioned it yet.
He's the principal on the road.
Oh, great.
That's Matthew Buchanan.
That's a huge project that definitely we want to work on. So what we've talked about so far is basically having events like this, building up that community grassroots movement in the cities where we are, where we have teams, and working to get the city to endorse the plant-based treaty officially, and adding to that list of all the cities around the world that have recognized this problem, and then start working on concrete solutions, and starting with the lowest hanging fruit, and building up, and depending on what people we meet and what people get excited, working on small scale projects to really amplify plant-based food in the community. So the fact that you're here, I'd love to connect and think about what that would look like. But yeah, obviously, public food is mostly through schools, a huge way to take action.
So understanding around the university, there's a lot of different issues, space, policies that are emphasized here. I am for it. Like I said, I actually believe in the mission. Would it be a possibility to come back here and train everyone that wants to be involved and how to mobilize and actually take to the streets and actually make change?
Yes, and that's even what we're starting here. Because the thing I was going to say next is, so in addition to signing the plant-based treaty, which I have a clipboard here, so I should be passing it around. Yeah. But I want to invite everybody, and Sue will talk more about this, but I want to invite everybody to come out to City Hall. That's your call to action here, is to tell your friends about plant-based treaty, look into it, learn a little bit more, and hopefully get involved. We have a volunteer QR code over there. But something that you can do, to actually take action in your own community, it can feel really overwhelming. I mentioned the federal government at the beginning because, taking on something so huge and so abstract, is really hard and really scary. But what can we all do? We're literally all here today in Providence. We can take action in our own community and create the future that we want here, and set that as an example for what other communities can do, and be there for each other, to support each other. And so that's why it would be so awesome if everybody could take action and start getting involved in the community. How many people have been to a city council meeting before? Woo, woo, woo. Okay, yeah, so a lot of people haven't before. A couple people have. Yeah, so Sue will talk about tomorrow's city council meeting, but maybe you can,
what we're asking is tomorrow is a city council meeting. Anyone that's really interested and excited, we should all go together to be at the city council at 6 o'clock tomorrow. We're gonna have a meeting, and we'll have a chance to talk to other city councils as well besides Sue.
Yeah, and there's another meeting in 2 weeks, and they happen every couple weeks. But the reason is because if you want to stand up for something you believe in, it's important to come together with people. This is already an ongoing movement. If you want to join us, then you can come to the city hall meeting and the city council meeting and speak to the councilors and be there in the community to talk to them about why this is important to you. And as the constituents, they want to hear from you.
And not only that, but myself, I would be bringing some ground university science and Rick science to let them know where you're from, and let them know that you have political clout, even though we're not political. You see what I mean? Because they always say non-profit is supposed to be non-political. But when we are, the politicians always come to us anyway. So the universities and the schools might as well show this stuff, right? This is big. This is Brown. He said, you all right. Let the state know when they're playing around. Let the city know when they're playing. Period.
Go ahead.
I do want to let you know, I actually come in representation of the GSA URI. I stand on the partnership committee. I'm out to actually be, if you want to say appointed to the defense committee. But I do deal with a lot of internal and external here. Again, that little feeling that you have in your heart, that means you want to get involved. Just take that extra step, the extra initiative. Jair's been a really big impact not only in my life, but also others here. He's actually a trustworthy person, so if you really want to get involved and do something, this is the guy you want to get involved with.
I love passionate people, and I love Sue AnderBois.
And I also want to say before Sue speaks that the city councilors are so friendly. I went to the first city council meeting in Providence a couple weeks ago, and I was just so happy to meet them, and they were really friendly, and so it's a really low stakes way to just like see how the government works and also talk to them and meet them and just, you know, say that you came to this event and you wanted to learn more about getting involved in the city. So yeah, cool. Yeah, please take it away.
Awesome. Yay. Hi friends, I know that you're probably hoping to get seconds, so I will keep it short and sweet.
Everybody gets seconds.
Yeah. So I just want to say hi, I'm Sue AnderBois. I am a member of the Providence City Council. I represent Ward 3, which is the northern part of the east side. So if you're students, you probably don't live in Ward 3, but I still love you. And the city represents all of you. So while I represent the constituents of Ward 3, you guys are also representatives of the city. And I'm excited to be with you today. A few things about me, which will be very brief because like snooze fest to talk about yourself. But and then we'll talk about how you guys can get involved with the city. So most of my career I've been a climate activist or clean energy policy activist, as well as like a food systems I hate to keep using the word activist. It's the end of the book, really long day, but activist. Thank you. I was Rhode Island's first director of food strategy. I got to work with Rich at the Southside Clean Land Trust as a board member. And my day job is doing climate policy work from Maine to West Virginia at a large environmental organization. City council is a part-time job in Providence. It's not full-time, so most of us also have full-time jobs, and mine is in climate. And so I actually ran for council mostly to get to work on climate issues, but also because I obviously love this city. So the other things I'm passionate about involve things like the city's financial health, which is a snooze fest for brown students, but things like our housing crisis, RIPTA, and how we get around this beautiful, wonderful city, and all sorts of things like that. I've done a lot of work on pedestrian safety. Happy to talk to brown students anytime. So if you have ideas or things you'd love to see happening in this city, please email me or text me anytime. I'm happy to give out some of my cards in my bag. But I've also been a vegan for 25 years, since I was in high school, which God was 25 years ago. And and I have to tell you, it's like way easier today than it was when I was in high school than when I was in college.
Yeah, can you explain that to them, please?
Yeah, there's so many options, you guys. I lived near like 3 vegan bakeries. Like what? The first year I was vegan, I didn't eat baked goods for a whole year because like that just like wasn't a thing that was readily available. So there's a lot of really great stuff now. It's amazing. It's a lot easier. It's really delicious. There's a lot of really great stuff. I'm still like an old school vegan. I love a good like flavored tofu, but I'll eat anything that's vegan. And bring those values with me to City Hall. And so I also just like love community engagement. I love being around students. And so I'm excited for you guys all. You're welcome to come to City Hall literally anytime. City Hall is open to you. It belongs to the residents of the city. It's open every day from 8:30 to 4:30. And then when we have meetings, which is a lot of the night, so just the quick government 101, the council is the legislative branch of government, which I think you probably know, but I'm always surprised when people don't know that. We're the legislative branch of government. We do things like pass policy, we oversee the budget, and then we meet as a full body twice a month, the first and third Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. in our beautiful chambers, and then we have committees most other nights. And so you're welcome to attend. All those meetings are all open to the public and also on Zoom. And tomorrow's meeting is actually going to be kind of a spicy one, so it would be a fun one for you to attend. We have a few controversial things on our agenda. One is the first, so all of our laws we have to pass twice, which is just a super weird thing that we have to do within our charter. And so we have the first passage of a law that restricts some of the work that the police do to ensure that we aren't cooperating with ICE. Yeah. So we'll be passing that for the first time tomorrow night. We're amending some city laws to ensure that we collectively as a community.
Fight it up, please.
Y'all show up.
Please show up, so that we collectively understand like what it means to not cooperate. And so we're just clarifying the law. To make
So
sure
you
that we
finally
can
get to
do
see tomorrow what it's not like to cooperate.
that. Yeah.
Like I'm saying, it's peaceful. Legislators, they're doing this.
Yeah. So please, you're also welcome to testify. Our meetings where we vote, we don't have public comment, but we have lots of public hearings and times for you guys to come engage. So please, anytime you're welcome. We'll also be voting on not ordinance to ban gas leaf blowers in the city, so I'm hoping that passes.
Hey.
We're going to veto it. Do you want to talk to me about that?
I knew you were going to say that.
But there'll be a lot of really exciting discussion. You'll see us all kind of talking to each other. And you're welcome to chat with us like before the meeting or after the meeting. Reach out to any of us. It's a weird setup where we're sitting kind of behind a little fence. It's totally fine. Just like be like, hey guys, I want to come talk to you. It's totally fine. It's a weird setup where there's like a little boat kind of thing. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Y'all are hungry. It's an honor to be with you tonight. I hope you can come to some of our meetings. And do you have your hand up for a question?
More comment. It's just in my head because ADHD. Yeah.
Love it.
So one of my biggest gripes, I know with the encouragement of people to be more vegan, there's a lot of language that I think people aren't used to hearing. So when you hear like food deserts, please don't call them food deserts. It's not such thing. Deserts are naturally occurring. It's a food apartheid. If you see it that way, it makes you more cognizant of it, and it makes you see how intentional, how bad it is to fight towards not having it that way. So don't call it a food desert. That's a lie. It's just like saying my house. Oh, you're homeless. I've been homeless. We're homeless. Don't make it sound pretty for the politicians. You're homeless. So it's food apartheid. Just always remember that.
Thank you for bringing that up. And the last thing I'll say, besides that you're welcome to come to City Hall anytime, if there are things you want council to be working on, reach out to me anytime. Like a lot of what I try and do is environmentally based, is work to make transit and pedestrian safety work in the city so folks can get around in the way that works best for them. Things dealing with financial health, housing, it's all interrelated. So if you guys are like, hey, this is a thing I'm fired up about, totally reach out. Like, love good ideas, love working with students. You guys, I just learned about this thing and 8 other cities are doing it. Why the heck is Providence doing it? Maybe there's no good reason. Let's do it. So just reach out anytime. Me or one of my colleagues, I'm sure, would love to work with you. So I will turn it over to Jacob, who's going to talk about health stuff.
Real quick, Miss Sue, when are you putting this in the agenda?
What?
The public street.
Oh, I don't know. We're working on the resolution, which I'm going to share with you to
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, well, this is a fantastic event. It's so special and exciting to be here, and a number of my students are here for my evidence to action science public health communication class. It's a long title. But one of the things that I've encountered since I started at the university a couple of years ago is that people have no idea how the food system is related to climate. And many people don't have much idea about how the food system is really related to nutrition much either. And so that's one of the things that we've been trying to address in our class as part of our mind expansion at the university has been to sort of understand what are the impacts of farming animals on the climate, on the environment, on the use of land, on the use of water. So one of the things that we learned from our pizza study in the spring, where we figured out what is the climate impact of just pizza cheese in the state of Rhode Island alone. And we found that if all the pizzas in Rhode Island, well, first of all, we did a little survey, we went around, we found how many pizzas are produced at restaurants in the state. We had to do some estimations. We got a small sample size and we estimated from there. And we figured out how much cheese they were using per pizza. And we estimate there's 16 million pizzas consumed in restaurants every year. That's like 16 per person per year, which is like one a month, a little 1.5 a month, which seems maybe pretty reasonable. If all those pizzas shifted from dairy cheese to vegan cheese or no cheese, that would be the equivalent of taking 1 out of every 5 cars off the road in Rhode Island, just in carbon emissions alone. It would be the same as we would gain agricultural land back the size of 6.6 Rhode Islands. The agricultural land in Rhode Island, so not the entire state, but the ag land that's used in Rhode Island. We would need 6.6 of that just to produce pizza cheese. And we also found, we tried to make some estimates about health. We found that we could prevent 1,400 premature deaths if people were just eating vegan cheese as opposed to dairy cheese. And of course, with the new pandemics, there's also benefits towards mitigating the emergence of new pandemics by being on a more plant-based foodscape. So these are some of the early findings, and we're trying to educate around these issues. And we're also curious to know, from city councilors and others, what sort of statistics and sort of information like this might be most powerful for moving action forward and showing the benefits in the state of Rhode Island. So anyway, this is a really exciting movement here that's been on display with the Plant-Based Treaty. And we're really hoping that we can sort of, as a university, connect and get involved in the movement. We're also hoping to, at some point, maybe plant-based our dining hall. Maybe make it. I don't think a single dining hall in American University has gone fully plant-based. So
There's one in Texas.
Oh, there's one in Texas. Okay. So we need to learn from what they're doing. But that's sort of also on our agenda. But anyways, many thanks, and if there's any way that our students or us at the university can get involved and support sort of in anyone's efforts across the state, we're very happy and excited to do that. So, thank you.
So that's the story of why a lot of us came together to do this. Before we end, I just want to reiterate a couple of things. So I come at this from the perspective of being a farmer, being an agriculturalist, being somebody that's interested in growing the food that my family is going to eat, that my community is going to eat. And right over there is one of my mentors. He's been farming for decades, and he's actually running one of the oldest urban farms in Providence. Over on the south side called City Farm. But one thing that we've heard a lot of different perspectives today. We've heard that plant-based things are good for the environment. We've talked about how they're good for the health. We've talked about how they affect the actual planet. And we didn't even talk about how it's just nice not to kill stuff, But something that really I think people don't understand, and why I say I'm coming at this from the perspective of a farmer, is that we have all gotten so divorced from the process of eating that to us, when we're eating something, it's just ham, a slice on a plate. We have no idea what's happened to get that thing there. And we have no connection to the actual act that is survival. We are all surviving because of other people's work and other people's hands. And we aren't even really considering how much energy it takes just to maintain my existence. And so these are all things that I really want folks to consider. And if you're worried about health, if you're worried about it not even working, I do hard labor, sometimes 6 days a week. I'm awake at 4:30, 3:30 in the morning, working hard until sometimes 7 at night. And that's happened to me a lot. And all I eat is plants. My diet is actually 100% fruit, because we come from, a lot of us don't even think about the species-specific diet and what it is to be here as a creature. Folks have really been saying for a long time that humanity is somehow its own species above other creatures, and that we have no basis in the animal kingdom. And this just isn't true. We all know we're primates. I'm not telling people they gotta eat all fruits. I'm telling people that there are foods that come from the jungle, and those foods come to us as part of our natural world. They come to us as our species-specific world. And we have no conception of that now. We're eating products that have 40 ingredients. None of them are natural, and most of them are synthesized in laboratories. And we think we aren't going to get diabetes, we aren't going to get heart disease, we aren't going to get high blood pressure. These things don't make sense. And that's why I said tradition isn't justification for anything. Every single one of us is an agent and has an authority. And your authority is the choices you make every day. So consider that. This isn't about food. This isn't about one group of people thinking they're better than another. This is about your agency as a person and making sure you actually use it and you become invested in what you do and why you do it. Because if you're doing things and you don't know why, something is wrong. Reason is the most important thing you can have as a human. And that's really where I want to leave you. As a human being, your reason is your choice on this planet. And make sure you actually use it. Make sure you consider what you do. Don't just live. All right, that's us.